Hello, welcome to Professor Pincushion. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to repair lace. This lace that you're looking at did have a hole in it. Don't believe me? Let's see what it looked like before. And here it is repaired. Want to learn how to do this? Let's get started. The first thing I want to do is support my lace fabric because it is very light and somewhat flimsy. So I like to lay it flat on the table. And I have a contrasting fabric that's going to be underneath my lace. So this is just a white cotton. And underneath that, I just have a small piece of fleece. That's something that I can pin to. So here is my lace here that I'm going to be working with. And you can see my hole right here. So I'm laying it right over my tabletop where I have my fleece and my cotton. And the white, because it's contrasting, shows through and it makes it really easy for me to see my hole. Now if you're working with something like a sleeve that you really can't lay flat like this, you can always do something like stick a sock in there just to kind of support the area. Now for my hole, if it's kind of sticking up around it, you want to kind of push it together best you can so we're not sewing that much. And I'm just going to stick a couple of pins in here to kind of hold the area a little bit closer together. So that's why I put the fleece down there, because it just makes it a little bit easier to pin everything, just so it makes it easier for us to sew it. Here's that same section a little bit closer. You can see my pins in place. I'm not trying to stretch the fabric. I'm just trying to make sure that the lace lays flat in that section, kind of so it would be the way it was before the hole was torn. Now the trick to doing this is to have your thread match as close as possible. I'm going to be using bright red so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and it's going to be obvious where the hole is when I'm finished. But if you do this with a matching thread, even if you know where the hole is and you can kind of see it, nobody else is going to know where it is, especially from a distance. So I have my thread already on my needle and I have a little small knot on the end. Now I'm just using regular all-purpose thread. You kind of want to match the thickness of the thread that's already in the lace. So mine is pretty thin, so I'm just using all-purpose. If you're looking at something that's a little bit on the thicker side, you can use something like embroidery floss as well. My first stitch is going to be an area where the lace thread is a little bit more closely woven together, which is going to be this area right here. So this is really close to my hole, and it's going to make a really good place to anchor my knot. So I'm going to come up, and I'm left-handed, so I hope my hand doesn't get in the way, and I'm going to come up underneath, so I'm going underneath where that area is and then coming up to the top side. So my lace is right side up. And I'm carefully going to pull this through so I don't actually get it caught in anything else, and it's not going through the cotton that's underneath at all. So it's just going through the lace. So there you can barely see my knot that's underneath that. Then I'm going to go across this section of the hole and grab a little bit of my lace on the other side. You don't want to go straight across, but more diagonally, and make sure that you're coming up in an area that's secure. So all the threads are intact in the lace and it's not coming through. I'm just very gently going to pull this through and just gently pull it. Now I don't want to pull it tight, so like this, because that's going to create a pucker. Instead you want it to kind of lay flat like this. Now I'm going to go back to the opposite side, again, not directly across, but more diagonally. And again, going through a section that seems pretty well intact. With lace, it's not really going to start unraveling on its own unless you start pulling on it. And that'll make the hole bigger. But if you're not pulling on it or yanking on it, it should be okay. And then just gently pull it. So these threads are going to stay kind of loose, but that's okay. Now, again, I'm just moving my pins out of the way so I can go to this next section, again, diagonally, and then gently pull it. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. So they're very loose threads. And then I'm going to go diagonally again. Now when I get to the end here, I can go back through again just to make it a little bit extra secure. And then it'll also blend it in a little bit better. So you won't just have one single strand coming through here, but maybe you'll have two. And so it'll look more like a lace pattern. I'm pretty much finished stitching this part closed. So you can see I went back through again, and this is just one single strand. I didn't tie any knots yet. And I kind of offsetted the original one. So when I went back through again, it's in a different spot. So next I'm going to tie a knot. Now I like to tie a knot on the wrong side, so it's not as noticeable. If you can't get to the wrong side, go ahead and you could tie a knot on the right side. Just make your knot as small as possible. So again, I'm going to go back through an area where it's a little bit more woven together so it can hide my knot a little bit. Pull this all the way through so it's on the back. And then I'm going to flip my fabric over so I could tie that knot. Okay, there's where it is. And I'm just going to grab just a little bit of the lace, just a couple of strands, because I don't want it to show on the right side as much as possible. It's going to create a loop, and then you just take your needle and put it through the loop and then very gently pull it until you have a knot. All right, so I'm going to cut that off. We're going to flip it back over to the right side again. Now, the only thing is just to fix this. Sometimes from when the hole was originally torn, you might get a couple little fuzzies coming up from the lace. I have one right here, which is really hard to see. So I'm just going to come through and just clean it up and then cut those off. Here's that same section, just pulled out a little bit more. So you can obviously see my red thread right there. And if you're looking at this thinking, well, I don't know, it doesn't look that great to me. Well, I actually repaired another section, and it's right there. So in this case, I used a matching thread, and it's hardly noticeable. If you go into this thinking it's going to be perfect, it's not going to be perfect, but nobody's going to notice it from a distance. And it also prevents your hole from getting larger. Now you can repair all your damaged lace and breathe new life into it again. New tutorials are released weekly, so please subscribe to be notified of the next release. Make sure to check out our other videos and visit ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 200 sewing video tutorials, including our exclusive premium content. Our premium membership is only $5 a month for unlimited access and only available at ProfessorPincushion.com. Also, don't forget to download our mobile app for videos on the go. Thanks for watching.